I've done that. Let's see if I can
And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Pendulum. Hold on, let me RT this so somebody can watch the show. Hold on. There we go. Just self-promotion. There we go. All right, and I guess, so, nobody's watching anyway, so welcome to Beyond the Pendulum. This is episode 19. Not a whole lot to talk about as far as, UAP updates. I mean, there is and there isn't. I would like to say, that George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, I would say, that there was something big coming out of the podcast. Nothing real big this week, other than reiteration of what was going on in the previous couple episodes. The New York Post posted some stuff. Was it yesterday or today? And they allowed a debunker, somebody named Greenwald. I recognize the name. Posted some shit that Lou Elizondo and had tricked Congress into believing that aliens are real and this and that, and I don't know. It's the same old shit show. I actually, the thing is, that was like one of the topics of the show. On my show notes was the what makes debunkers tick, and I don't like. I understand why anti-vaxxers, what makes them tick. I know what flat earthers make them tick, but like with debunkers, I don't know what makes these people tick. It's like, I don't know if it's shattering their. When you look at people like that, when people are debunkers, it's obviously fear driven, right? Because there's something about it that they have to prove to themselves and to others that it's not real, doing mental gymnastics. But I honestly think that there's some larger implications than what we see going on, with these debunkers. I think it's more of a religious thing, to be honest. Because if aliens are real, UFOs are real, then the whole Bible is bullshit.
Oh, so you're saying they have like a religious bias towards
so.
their UFO debunking.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because
that would kind of screw up their world, right? I mean, that would complicate it anyway.
Yeah, I know religious Jews that would think the same way. It would flip their lid, and the same with hardcore Christians.
Yeah. But they're going to give themselves away pretty quick, because if they go too far, if the bias is so bad that it makes you seem petty in what you're picking on, and in your need to debunk, now that's different. It's like, I would say it's a psyop, but it's only, you're being driven for other reasons. You just don't like the material, and you just want to destroy it in some way.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what goes on, We'll see. I mean, I'm onto a few debunkers, but I think it's a religious thing, or it's fear driven. Either it challenges their reality, or their religion. It has to be something core to their core psychology, because some of these guys do mental gymnastics, like real stretches of the truth, like all ghosts are with mass hypnosis, and UFOs are people drinking alcohol, I don't know.
Well, that's when you lose credibility yourself. You know, you're in your zeal to debunk, you're bringing up just petty stuff and taking it too far. Now, I will say this: it sounds like, of course, government does this with damn near everything. Is they like to run both sides, but they'll run like a UFO. There'll be a legitimate UFO story, but at the same time, you have your people that you use as the counter argument. You know, you get them busy, kind of confusing the situation in the debunking mode. But they're really running both sides of the propaganda. Not saying it all has to be propaganda, but it's just something they do, you know. And then people latch onto that. You know, of course, the debunkers they'll gladly come on board because that's their kind of their angle.
Yeah, I used to not believe in the whole UFO psyop from the government until, oh God, so I started re-listening to some old Art Bell episodes, and there was Richard. He was part of the OSPI, some division of the Air Force. I can't remember exactly what it was, where they their job was to run psyops to kind of make the whole UFO thing sound so crazy that nobody would believe it. They would give some people real information. They would give some people completely false information, and their whole job was counterintelligence, to the point where if nobody can tell the truth, then nobody knows what to believe anymore. You know?
Yeah, they're like always doing that. It's it. I think it's just something governments like to do. You know, this is, and it's another means of keeping control. You know, if you keep people confused, then they can't really rebel. They can't organize. You know,
Yeah, it's got to be something along those lines. You know, like
while at the same time, you know, they have to promote their. You know, they actually have to get information out there. There is information out there, so they can't like put out total BS all the time. There has to be some truth to what they're saying, or then they're just totally discredited. So then they play this game of, you know, playing both sides, keeping both sides going.
it has to be something along those lines, because you know, I saw people trying to debunk the what was it, the Baghdad Bandit, and the not Mosul or Orb. That was a funny one. That one did get as much debunking, but there's a lot of famous videos, like the gimbal video and the go fast video, and um quite a few others in the past where people just tried to debunk, without with impunity. That everything up in the sky is unidentified or a psyop or something. Like, I know it's not, because I've seen these things from my own eyes. Like, I know what I saw.
Oh,
I
that
don't.
one of those articles I sent you earlier, that the Navy guy was off of San Diego, not that far off of San Diego coast there, same little
Oh,
area.
here.
Yeah, which one was? Oh, the damn it,
Fox
that first
7
wave.
Austin.
No, that former Navy pilot that we
Oh.
thought was recent, but yeah, it really went to back like almost 20 years now. Shit.
Oh, you mean Commander David Fravor?
Yeah, that's where he says he was. Uh, yeah, and you're near that hot spot over there. I mean, you know, whatever's going on, if that's an underground sea base or whatever they're doing, you know, there sure are a lot of contacts.
I don't know, man. I go to the south side of, like, Palos Verdes, and I'm seeing, I'll see lights up there, and then I'll check the apps, well, registered flights, and not, not every time, but quite often there will be lights up there that just don't have any, registered flight path. Does that mean that it's 100% a UFO? No, but there's been times where I'm just like, no way, I know what I'm seeing.
So it's not even military. You can see those two.
I don't get a hell of a lot of military in my area. They do fly. There is Vandenberg, which is north of us, and then uh, we have the Air Force base in San Pedro, but there's not. It doesn't have a runway. It's just like a base. It doesn't actually do anything that it flies. We do have the Navy and the ports, but they really don't do shit. And then yeah, the only ones you really see stuff out of is like Vandenberg and the Marine base down near San Diego, where they the most of the shit I see out of there is just the Apache helicopters, and it's like a blue moon when they come over and fly by. Well, not so often. Every couple of months you'll see them fly over, but you don't typically get a lot of military flybys over Los Angeles. You know,
So
not too often. Yeah.
doing one of their downtown. God, what do they call those things? They're like, I guess they're not really like hostage.
Oh, where they were
Yeah,
when they were doing the army. Yeah, there was a few times. Yeah, when they were running live operations during COVID. I do remember that. Yeah, where they were using those little helicopters and dropping guys in the street, like up with Operation Jade Helm or whatever the fuck they're
yeah,
practicing for.
that was it. It's yeah, they did that here in San Antonio for about 4 or 5 days. Now this is going back a year or two, but I mean it was like almost a week long event, advertised and everything. And no shit, man, we were on I was going to get a pizza going to the south side, and man, these choppers came over and they're flying low, dude. I mean, it ain't even right, you know, doing whatever they're doing. Then they were landing downtown, scaring everybody. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
they,
announced, but at the same time, it's not like they were telling everybody because people were still getting scared. It's that so they're just it's like they do these things just to like tense the environment and just see what kind of reaction you get.
yeah, I remember the downtown thing. Like, if you didn't watch the news, you wouldn't have known it was even going on. I didn't even know until somebody told me. I was like, man, those the guys dropping down in the South Central. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and you do them and big flashbangs too. I mean, they're not you know these things. When they were popping off downtown, I mean, they were loud. It was like louder than fireworks. You're like, holy crap, see why people are getting scared. Like
Oh, it's a crazy world. It really is.
they're just keeping you on your toes and keep you scared, right? I mean, that's the that's Operation One there.
Oh
That
yeah.
works for a lot of things. And
What else happened this week? Um, and
yeah, as far as UFOs, man, I don't know.
yeah, there was the one of these major sites that does the FOIAs got denied the spy balloon stuff due to the. Not only that, they requested the information regarding the unidentified objects that they shot down that won't get released. They wanted the FOIAs for that, and they were all denied due to the material being classified. I'm like, even the fucking Chinese fucking spy balloon, wherever the fuck it was, Jesus Christ. They released the drone footage of the Su-27 dropping fuel on our and crashing into our one of our drones, Reaper drones, but they won't release a hobby balloon. Come on, if it is a hobby balloon, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, don't you have those kids? It might have been a high school that said it was their balloon. It's like some kind of experiment. Like,
Like, you know me,
gee, I mean,
I
as
hate.
big as that thing was, it's like, come on, that's a hell of an experiment for high schoolers to put together. But
I don't know. Like, I I think I'm starting to hate Biden just as much as I did any other president, even more so because it's like At least he's not like saying dumb shit to the world, but he's saying things, they're just like every other politician. You say one thing and nothing ever happens. You know. He talks about like what is he saying? Like he's the whole part of like now that I know that the president can declassify anything at any given time, he's part of the conspiracy at this point in my eyes. All of them, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
I didn't even know
Well, like I
that.
said, they're all kind of cut from the same cloth, though. Especially the last 30, 40 years. It's just
Well, the only
despite what you thought, Republican or Democrat, or that they were different, they really weren't.
the only
It should
people
be obvious by now. They all do basically the same shit in the uniparty, and there's a solid narrative and a solid goal that's always being pushed forward, and it doesn't matter what party it is.
Well, the odd part about this thing is the only people that are fighting for what the American public wants is Congress. I think they kind of had it with all the fucking lies, and now they know they've been lied to by the DOD and the Pentagon. They know they're getting lied to.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the whole point. See, they're supposed to, especially like the House, that they should be the ultimate overseers of everything.
Well, now
And
they
it's
know.
being, yeah, they're being containerized and pushed off to the side and made little puppets out of them.
Well,
And
they know after this
and it
balloon
just,
thing.
yeah, that's why your accountability's gone right down the crapper, because there is none. If you don't get to know, and they don't get to know, then you really don't have a government. There's some rogue activity going on.
Oh, for sure. That's well now that most of the Congress and senators know that they're getting lied to when they're not even privy to classified need to know, of hobby balloons, whatever the fuck it was. They know they're getting lied to at this point.
Yeah, no, their own worst enemy. They like to. They're lazy, so they like abscond their duties and like pass it over to the executive branch, which then just starts doing everything on its own and not letting them know. And then they wonder why they're getting lied to, and they don't know. Well, you gave all that up. You gave up control years ago and never got interested in getting it back, and now you're in this position of being like useless essentially. You can have your hearings or whatever, but none of that means anything.
Yeah,
And then
they
even when you don't cut off these programs or do anything about it. So yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
any attributes? The last 5 times the Pentagon's budget has been audited the last 5 times and it's failed. It has almost $500 million unaccounted for. Or no, billion. Sorry,
Trillion.
hundreds of billions. Sorry, that's what I mean. Hundreds of billions of
Yeah.
dollars unaccounted for.
Yeah, that was that whole 2.3 trillion shit. That was 2001, right?
Yeah,
Fucking Rumsfeld. Yeah, it's a big slush fund. That's why graft has to be going through the roof. And not so much at the lower levels, because they got that. You get thrown in jail for sure, man, for stealing a titanium bolt. But these guys can do all kinds of $1 million deals, behind the scenes for their families. And apparently that's okay. The Chinese are bad, except when they're doing one of their inside deals or need to cover up some money trails. And
yeah. This.
what a great country, man. Totally out of control.
Uh,
I guess that's to be expected with Empire, though. He's the Game of Thrones and
well,
world domination.
well, the way this economy is going, it might not last much longer. This is getting ridiculous. Every time, now what was our budget? Our budget for like food every 2 weeks was like no, every week was like 350. Now it's costing us 400 because they raised the fucking price of fucking infant formula again. This is getting ridiculous. Like they're pricing people out of fucking food. You know, it's ridiculous. It's getting real bad out there. Like
Well, yeah, and your consumer protection aid, consumer protections. It's like, where are they? Where is that agency?
Yeah, the gas company raised our rates like 400%.
Yeah, you see people trying to sell gasoline like that. Well, they get thrown in jail. You're not just gonna sell $7 or $8 gasoline in a hurricane, right? You get hammered for that. But hey, corporate world, man, you know, keep it somewhat realistic. 5 to 10 times the price, and you can get away with it.
Yeah.
It's just two sets of rules.
What else happened this week? Oh yeah, UFO reports are increasing despite the disinformation campaign. I do see psyops trying to, as we were talking earlier, I do see what I think are government agents trying to put the genie back in the bottle. What's going on as far as politics? Oh yeah, Twitter's going down just like Facebook. Yeah, that's going downhill. Now,
What's it?
yeah, so like Elon Musk raised the rate. What was it, $8 for blue tick. Then now it's $11 a month. Now he's moving it down to $7 again for a blue tick. And I'm hearing rumors that the search function and the tweet longer and a few other symptoms, a few other built-in features are going to be paid premium. So you could say goodbye to Twitter. Like there's like I don't know. I just don't. Twitter seems like stagnant at this point. I don't think there's a way for Elon Musk to turn the whole thing around.
Yeah, unfortunately, like when you have a toxic workforce, like what they created there, all those years, it's I'm not sure why he bought it personally, but it just seems
Because
like
he
it would have
could
been.
be he fell into the atypical gambler's dilemma, where it's the forbidden fruit. Remember before he couldn't buy it, and then when he does get it, he doesn't want it. Now he's gonna go bankrupt because he can't make a profit off of it.
Yeah, yeah. And he paid so much, and you're just like, why
44
would you do
billion,
that?
all on loans.
Yeah, I mean, he
When
could just burn the banks, but then what does that do to his credit and everything else? I don't know.
oh,
Maybe it's an inside. What Facebook started off as a government project anyway, way back. So maybe nobody cares. It's not Facebook, Twitter. I'm sorry, that's something else. But I bet
y-
you they're all tied together.
yeah, yeah. The like I was saying, some other with some with some of my commie friends online. Like I do dabble with every kind of group out that's out there. I'm not real judgmental on whether you're lefty or righty. You know, as long as you're not a Q, I really don't care. But even I was telling them, and they kind of agree with me that the users will decide what the next Twitter is. Because Facebook is now only for boomers. Snapchat's for like is not really a video messaging. It's more for like porn. Um, YouTube has to be kid friendly. It's like it's all kind of like water. All these platforms are really ruining themselves due to over regulation. People want to have a place where they can gather, but it doesn't seem like free speech. Like there is no real um, balance between free speech and keeping all the bad shit out. Like it's either all or nothing.
Yeah, they almost. I would call it a dumbing down. It's the selective way things they kind of want you to see and hear. I mean, this is typical like old style TV and cable and all the rest. Once They all open up and they're kind of open in the beginning, and then everything gets clamped down. Then it's a matter of, well, what we actually want you to see and hear, and then it all gets weird.
Oh yeah, I have some people that are doing the whole Facebook Periscope thing where they think that the war in Ukraine isn't real. I'm like, dude, like, I talked to some. I had some Ukrainian refugees at my dad's Super Bowl party. You know, straight off the fucking plane. You know, they were only here like a week or two. They're from a town near Bucha. You know, they saw that. They saw a lot of that shit go down. You know, like it's fucking for real. Like people. It's almost as though people kind of put them in this mental illness, but or maybe that's just how people are. They only believe they only believe what they see, or they get these weird mental delusions that shit isn't real if you can't find it online. There's a lot of shit that ain't online, you know.
Yeah, it's
And
getting filtered more and more.
what the weird part is that the Ukraine war is there's more online presence than anything else in this war than I've seen in any other war, you know.
Well, I'll tell you, the third party reports are, to me, are always better than the mainstream. It's even if the guy has some bias, you're getting more ground level reporting than you're ever going to see on these other outfits.
Oh yeah, and I'm seeing some of the shit show that's going on right now, where a lot of people are getting called stolen valor and stuff. And this is coming from the soldiers over there, you know, that's going on. I don't really know what's going on over there, and as far as the Ukraine war, I don't see that ending anytime soon. It's a
No.
it's pretty much a stalemate at this point.
Well, yeah, the Russians found, they thought they were going to roll over things pretty quick, like in a month or two, and they found out they kind of rolled in, and it's typical of what we do. We roll in, and then you find out what the reality is, and then you're stuck there for a while, and they're stuck. I haven't seen much movement in a while
No,
now.
yeah, they'll take back one city or one town, and then it'll get taken over. Just same shit that went on in Vietnam.
Yeah, back and forth and
And
trench
and it,
warfare. It's like, oh man.
yeah, once you start getting into these weird, you know, stalemates, realistically, they're unless you want to have massive casualties, you're not gonna, you know, there ain't there for a major push. You're not gonna. I don't know that's just a track record of war. Once it becomes a stalemate, somebody has to sacrifice a lot of people to get the upper hand. That's what we did in. That's what we did in World War II. You know, the North storming of Normandy. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
they
When
knew
look at
that
the effort.
yeah, the generals knew there would be 100,000 person loss, and they did it anyway. Something along those lines. Wasn't it like 100,000 they lost that day?
It was a lot the first day. Yeah, I don't know if they hit that number, but well, they almost had to do something. You had all the Russians. Well, and then there's the power play along with that. So you got the Russians taking all kinds of casualties on the other side, wanting you to get in, and then at the same time, it's like you have to get in from our angle because, well, if you let the other guys keep going and taking over, well, then it's theirs. So you almost had to,
Yeah.
which is the design. Push you in the corner, and it always seems like anyway. And anyway, the way they do things and structure these events, it's, well, we had to do this. Well, yeah, like
Yet now here Americans are starving and we're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. It's like I don't
yeah,
know.
and I'm surprised. Well, and we're paying for the Ukrainian pensions. I mean, being an older folks, you tell people that. I tell you, a lot of people don't even know that's going on, and then when
I
you tell
didn't.
them, they're like, "What? They're taking care?" They're like, "Well, fuck that," because their pensions suck. They're not getting what they think they should be getting, and then they hear, you're paying off some other country's pensions, and they're like, "Oh hell no."
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, man, they slide in all this stuff. and who knows what else. How come all of the Zelensky and the rest of his cronies at the top, they've all got $1 million properties in Switzerland and fucking Miami Beach, and the Riviera. They're doing good, man. I mean, there's so much graft going on,
Oh yeah,
and they don't even
grifting.
care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it comes out within a month or two. It's like they don't even bother to hide it. It's just like, yeah, we've got some places, and
Uh, well, yeah, the same thing was going on in Afghanistan too.
yeah, and then all the drug smuggling. It's always in these poppy. Strange. It's always in these like heroin growing areas that we seem to have these wars that go on.
Oh
They just have
yeah.
to be there right where the heroin fields are.
Let me see what else went on today. This week. Like I said, this might be a short show. Yeah, somebody. There was a major publication out last week where somebody did um, a review on Meta, and it was pretty bad on their virtual reality shit that they're doing, the Meta platform, and they compared it uh, to basically 1990s or early 2000s era graphics. There's no Mark Zuckerberg wasted almost like $32 billion on something that looks like a 2000 early 2000 like a PS2 era graphics. Nobody has feet or anything, and you ever seen Veggie Tales? It's kind of like those kind of graphics, and it's almost a ghost town. Nobody wants this shit. And on top of that, Mark Zuckerberg fired 15,000 more than 15,000 people in the last 3 months. Could you imagine spending $32 billion on a virtual reality platform that looks like Veggie Tales?
Well, it's like Microsoft. Every time, it's almost like Microsoft trying to get into the gaming business. And, maybe over the years they finally kind of made that work, but, they lost a ton of money trying to get into the gaming.
Oh yeah.
And the metaverse is kind of, well, not that it's all gaming, but, it is gaming in the way it looks and uh, some of the action. It's just, you know, that's a lot of money, though. I mean, he's getting screwed over. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, as he does, but it's like that's a lot of money to spend for shitty results.
Oh yeah. For
It
sure.
seems like you would know, like by the first billion or two, it's like, hey, this project's really not going anywhere. Where you can kind of tell when something's coming together and when it's not.
He's he's Mark Zuckerberg. He doesn't make. I don't make mistakes. I'm Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you might think, hey, I'd probably think that too if I owned a multi-billion-dollar company. I was like, man, I must be doing something right. I must be a smart motherfucker to have all this money.
I call it the idiot effect. you know.
Well, and that's like getting old too. So you get dated, and then you're not really up to date with what the kids are going on and the technology and electronics and all that, and you just fall behind. Next thing you know, you're blowing $32 billion on shit that don't work.
I don't even know anybody who uses Facebook. Like, honestly, like I don't.
Well,
Like I
I'm
know
totally
people.
shadow banned. It doesn't matter if I put anything out. I don't get any comments, any emoticons. It's like nobody sees it. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I could send something through Messenger to like 8 people, and I get more reactions than I do like through the regular post. It's like, well, so why? Yeah, so why do I log in every 6 months? Because I don't really even want to be there anymore.
And what is it? Truth Social. And was it? What's his name was having a mental breakdown, thinking he was going to go to prison this week. Trump. Did you hear about
Oh, they're
that?
just messing with it. Yeah, they're still going to do it. It's just they're just. But since he called the day, then they can't do it that day. but they're gonna. I think they're gonna do it, man.
I heard
And
DeSantis won't honor the warrant.
oh, if it's done in Florida, oh,
Yeah.
well, the truth is, okay, he did get robbed in the election, and we need to square that up. But at the same time, he's a traitor, and has a lot of high crimes and misdemeanors going on. So, we'd have to take him to
Yeah.
the street corner too with Joe Biden and a lot of the others with them. So I'm all for it. Let's clean the house and do it right. But
Yeah.
it's and this all goes back to that. It's like how it all started. This goes back to that Stormy Daniels stuff. It's like hey, in 2023, man, nobody cares if the president is banging a porn star. Bill Clinton took care of that problem. After all that, 25, 30 years ago, it's like, and what all that white stuff was on the blue dress, it's like, hey, everybody knows what's going on now. It's like,
Yeah.
and yet
I
that's your case. Okay. Hey, it's
yeah.
politics, man. It's dirty. So I just see the jurisdictional problem with the whole thing. I really don't get how you can. Feds won't take it. State doesn't want to do it, but the local DA is going to do it. But then do you even have jurisdiction? Can you even pull that off? It's like I don't see it.
I don't know.
Hey, but really, what it is, Democrats have a grudge for some reason, and they really want to see Donald Trump perp walk and in handcuffs. Even if the whole thing's bullshit, I think they really just want to see that. And I think a lot of other people do too, but even if the whole thing's just frivolous and goes nowhere, that they want to get that image of him because they can run that thing for a year and a half.
Yeah. I might have to end this show a little early. I think my kid's having a mental breakdown.
Oh no.
Yeah. I think I'll end it here. Once again, if you're listening, we'll be back next time. Sorry about that. I can't control what the hell my kid is doing. We'll be back, same time, same place. Be back next week.